Thank you. And the first thing I want to say is I want to wish Kerry and Meath the best of luck at the weekend after next, or next weekend. So, having said that, the first thing I want to say is that I would like to thank all the deputies for their contributions during this afternoon's debate and also in last week's debate. And you can see in my record and my opening commitments is that there is a continued commitment in investment in public transport, with significant progress that has been made over the last few years in our rail network. Notably, we have made progress on the DART Plus programme, with recent planning decisions for DART Plus West and South West, and I look forward to achieving a major milestone in the programme next year, when the new DART battery electric train fleet is scheduled to start entering service between Dublin and Drogheda. We also have made good progress in upgrading train stations across the network, with the recent opening of a new platform at Cork Kent Station, which I visited recently, and ongoing works at Kent Station in Galway, and the ongoing construction of the new Plunkett Station in Walford. I would also like to reiterate that the Government remains clear on the need to continue investing in the transport sector, and implementing the vision as set out in the All-Ireland Rail Review will be a key priority for this Government. By taking a holistic view of the rail network across the whole of the island, rather than looking at one region or another, the Rail Review not only encourages balanced regional development, but also looks at how individual lines or projects fit into and strengthen the wider network in its entirety. The review has set out 32 strategic recommendations to enhance our rail system in Ireland and Northern Ireland up to 2050, aligning with the net carbon zero commitments in both jurisdictions. The implementation of these recommendations would have a transformative impact on the rail system across the island. Frequency would increase to at least hourly on key intercity routes and every 2 hours on regional and rural lines. Rail journey times between cities and regions would also be significantly reduced. A decarbonised railway would be provided for, largely through overhead electrification of the busiest routes, with alternative low-emission traction technology such as batteries deployed on the more likely trafficked lines. The recommendations will significantly increase the length of the rail network from around 2,300 kilometres across the island currently to circa 3,000 kilometres. Furthermore, the vision involves the construction of new rail lines, particularly in the North Midlands and North West, widening accessibility and connectivity. The vision includes the commitment to commencing reinstatement of the Western Rail Corridor between Athenry and Claremorris at the earliest possible date. Individual projects will all be subject to detailed economic analysis as they are advanced through the approval process. As I noted in my opening statement, my department is currently working on with a range of stakeholders to bring forward a rail reviews recommendation for further analysis and progression. In this context, my department is supporting Iarnród Éireann's ongoing assessment of the Western Rail Corridor from Athenry to Claremorris, and expect to receive a report on this matter this year. We are also working with the European Investment Bank, or EIB, and other rail stakeholders north and south, considering how to best sequence and implement the recommendations of the Rail Review, with a view to optimising their development for passengers and societies. This work with the EIB has included the preparation of a project prioritisation strategy. The strategy has been broadly agreed by the project steering group and will be published later this year. This work is also helping to inform my department's engagement with the ongoing review of the National Development Plan. The outcome of this review will ultimately determine the amount of capital funding available to progress new transport infrastructure over the medium term. In closing, I would like to reiterate that this Government remains committed to investment in public transport. Individual programmes and projects referred to in the Rail Review will be advanced subject to funding and relevant approvals. And I also look forward to working closely with the National Transport Authority and Iarnród Éireann in the coming years to progress the review's recommendations and make these investment plans a reality. And just in relation to some of the issues that were raised last week by some of the deputies here, the issue of a new Drogheda train station, and I'm currently unaware of any plans for a new station in Drogheda, though this will be kept under review. And Irish Rail will continue to engage with parties proposing a new station, and my department will keep me informed of this issue. Somebody raised the issue of the DART service to Wicklow, and in relation to the extension of the DART service to Wicklow, the National Transport Authority Greater Dublin Transport Strategy 2022 to 2042 include a recommendation to extend the DART service to Wicklow town. I understand this extension can be facilitated to the utilisation of the new battery electric dart carriages, which are coming into service. Somebody else raised the issue of the Shannon Airport rail link, and on the plans for rail link to Shannon Airport, I note that one of the strategic recommendations in the rail review is to connect international airports, including Shannon Airport, to the rail network. The programme for government also includes a commitment to improve connectivity and public transport to our airports. As with other recommendations of the review, this proposal will be advanced subject to securing approvals and funding, which will be informed by the outcome of the National Development Plan. Lastly, I am pleased to inform the House that Irish Rail, or Iarnród Éireann, recently reached an agreement with TransLink for the expansion of the Quieter Court initiative to the cross-border enterprise rail service. It is hoped that this will be introduced by Ireland next year, and this follows on from the successful introduction of a quieter coach on the Dublin to Cork rail services. And in relation to having services available such as a cup of tea or a breakfast on the trains, Irish Rail are looking at that at the moment and see how best they can deliver it. And in relation to the Galway service line, again I will talk to Irish Rail about that. And in relation to the issue around Navan Rail, that is progressing, and hopefully it will be rail order will be delivered on that year after next, I believe. So we're talking about rail network and we're talking about the All-Ireland Rail Review. And before I finish up, I want to acknowledge the work that was done by my predecessor as Minister for Transport, Eamon Ryan, in bringing together the vision that everybody had for their own area and putting it into a strategic plan. And when you put it together into one plan, each element of it becomes more viable. And I want to acknowledge the work he undertook in opening up the rail line from Limerick to Fynes Port, which is also another catalyst to allow for the Atlantic economic corridor across the western region to develop as a rail network. So I think we have a lot done. People are complaining that we don't have enough carriages now, where 30 years ago we were closing down railway lines. So I think we've got to a stage where we have the tipping point has been reached. And instead of closing down, we are opening up, we're modifying. And when I see the work that's been done in Limerick, Galway, Cork stations and Waterford stations outside of Dublin, I'd say that this is going to be good for regional development, and we will work on it as best we can with the support of all in the House. So thank you very much.